Devastating fires have hit LA and the Pacific Palisades community. Just horrific video of what has happened in such a short period of time because of the intense winds. And so it prompted me to think, what is the astrology of California? And how does this play a role in their propensity for forest fires? Is there something to that story through their astrology that is worth sharing? The answer is obviously yes, so welcome. My name is Lydia Griffith, and this is the Feng Shui and Bazi Chinese Astrology channel. Often on this channel, I like to read the charts of famous people because I think it helps us to better understand our own lives and our own astrology. So there is enough to this that it was definitely worth sharing. Beyond the story of these horrible fires and the specific days, that is the thing, how the astrology of a day can impact our own individual astrology, where a horrific act can happen that only possibly could have happened on that day, right? You ever wonder about that? I think off the top of my head, like Princess Diana dying in that horrible car crash. And when you look at the astrology of that, it was just destined to be. And when you look at the astrology of California, it is a very dry chart. It is that very dry desert-like air, okay? And there is so many interesting things to unpack here. So if this strikes interest for you, please subscribe, hit like if you like the video, and hit the bell so you don't miss a single video. And I will say, my initial intention going into this 2025 is to scale back and only do 2 videos a week. And I don't know that I can keep up with that because there are so many things happening in our current landscape of our world. I mean, I have a lot to share with you. So we'll see. I have a feeling that this is going to expand into more videos, more readings. So, and just so you know a bit about me, I have over 20 years of experience as an international Feng Shui consultant and a master Bazi Chinese astrologer. A lot of my work is very intuitively guided and channeled. So I enjoy storytelling, and within the storytelling that we can all heal, we can all better understand. It's, within a story, there's always a measure of medicine, right? So California is born, love saying that about a country or a state, was enacted, came into being, however you want to say it, September 9th, 1850 at 9:32 in the morning. Now, the lowdown hoedown of this is a yang metal dog year. It is a yin wood rooster, which is yin metal. And the day, which is the most important piece, the day that you're born, because that is you, specifically you. That's yang water dog, second dog. And then we have the hour of yin wood snake. Now, when California was created back in 1850, I don't think that they knew then, certainly, what the glitz and glam of California was to become. When I think of California, I think of Hollywood. I think of redwood forests. You think of specific cities that are well known for their architecture, like San Francisco. and movies, TV, all of that, music, the arts. And it's oddly enough a state in the United States I've never traveled to. I've always wanted to go and see the redwood forests, and that is on my bucket list. Let's see if I can manifest that dream. So when we look at just the 4 pillars, okay, one of the things that's important to recognize is it is a year of the dog, day of the dog. This is, when I see that, I see a state that is built with people that are very much about justice, the law, what is fair, how you can be charitable to those that need help. Yeah, and there is a tremendous amount of strength to that energy. And I find it interesting that California has notoriously been very liberal-minded, very progressive in their thinking. And there is some of that there, right? The justice for the environment, justice for whatever, right? Gay rights or whatever. Anyway, so that makes a lot of sense to me. The month, which is traditionally your parents, that's kind of like, if you look at the year you're born, that's your elders. So that would be the founding people and the people that signed or created the state of California. And again, there is that yang metal dog speaks very strongly of backing, that you have support. Support from the banks, support from the government. How do you need to be funded, right? And then we have the dog sitting there in the founding corner of the year and speaking of really hard work, bringing in government, bringing in wealth, bringing in money and property, all of that energy, that momentum to build. And then you have the month, which is the parents. And I would say that is your day-to-day government. That is how the country or the state is run, okay? And this is yin wood over the rooster, yin metal. And that's in conflict, yeah, So the yin wood speaks of rebellion. It speaks of Renaissance. It speaks of people that are innovative and quirky, unique, precocious, intuitive, smart, ingenious, really like going in a different direction from everyone else. It speaks so much to how you see California. They are different. When you think of California in relation to the rest of the United States, it stands out as being a very unique population of people that are drawn there for specific reasons. The beauty and the arts and all of it. The rooster is really interesting here. This is very strong government. And that very strong government presence in how you're governed, well, thank you. Yes, that is affirmed. We have a strong government that is innovative and all those things. Smart, progressive, really cool. That's a very cool lineup. And you sometimes want that challenge, right? That conflict of elements, because it keeps things. When we're challenged, we innovate. When we're challenged, we look for ways to improve, to pivot, to think outside the box. The day, which really speaks of the people, okay, is yang water, over the dog. And this is their sovereign selves, which is water. It's very interesting because the water is nowhere else in the chart. It's hanging out there in the breeze. The only saving grace to that little drop of water that is the people of California is the excessive amount of metal in this chart. So it's kind of like a weak child that is so in the arms of its mother that it can relax and say, okay, I might not be the strongest thing in the world, but I've got all this support, so I can stand as long as I'm being held, right? Which is interesting. Like when you think of the housing crisis there, that it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. But they always have the protection. Now, that dog for the water is not easy. It is challenging and it requires hard work. But again, the government has you and there is funding. There is the money to make things happen. Now, when we look at the hour speaks of how Californians work. And this is the snake. This is very interesting. This is the youth, the young people, children, and also, how people work. So the snake is an interesting thing because again, we get that flavor of ingenuity and knowing, of sensing, intuiting, being behind the scenes, creating things. This, the yin wood sitting here, just like in the month, is very much about innovation, about being innovative, creative, out of the box thinking, smart. And the snake is a nobleman star, bringing all kinds of angelic blessings to the youth of California and to the work, how people work here. There is a lot of money available through the innovation for people to make money in multiple ways. So there is a lot of opportunity. There is also funding and there is challenge rooted in all of that. Now, let's set that aside, the 4 pillars. The current luck cycle plays a huge role in what is happening and has been happening for the last 4 years, going into the 5th year. In 2020, California moved into a new luck cycle of a yang water tiger. Now, anybody that's been paying attention to this channel knows that the tiger and the snake form a semi-fire penalty. Wrap your brain around that for a hot second. Oh my gracious. Then when we look at the astrology of Tuesday, January 7th, 2025, and Wednesday, January 8th, this fire within 2 days destroyed a whole community. Unbelievable. The power of fire, like water, right? Terrifying. And I want to, I'm going to get to talking about this fire and how bizarre the astrology is lining all of this up. And where California as a whole is going in this coming year is all very interesting. And it dovetails up to a updated astrology I'm going to do on P. Diddy Combs, because there is a larger story to what is happening in the greatest industry California is known for, I think, which is celebrity and everything celebrity related, movies, and television and music. There is a massive shift that we are embarking upon, well, collectively as a whole, but there are definitely specific industries that I think are going to be hit the hardest. So, earmark, let's go and look at something else in their chart, which is the 5 elements, which is everything to Chinese astrology, Bazi Astrology, and to feng shui, Chinese medicine, acupuncture, right? So in Bazi Astrology, that balance of elements is crucial to our welfare. Now, we already have established that California is a yang water state with no other water in the chart. Because it is born in the month of September, the pattern for California is metal. Now, that's a benefit to the water being so weak and hanging out there in the breeze. The metal, though, is excessive. This is a Xiaobird chart. This is where it's like a mother that is overprotective or over-coddling. It's like there's too much support, but it's at 41%, if not more. And the water is weak, slightly weak at 14%. I would say that it's now stable because of all that metal. But all that metal makes the state of California extremely dry and windy, right? When we think of metal, we think of lungs, we think of breath, we think of how we breathe air, the quality of air. Wood is what is the motivating action of creation. For water, it nourishes wood. That's balanced at 19%. Fire, interestingly enough, the industry related to celebrity and the arts is weak. The weakest element at 11%. Of course it is. There's so much metal. And metal and fire fight with each other. Fire controls metal. And in this combination, you could think, well, how in the world is there so much wealth here? Well, there is wealth, and I'll explain how that happens, but it shows how things can be like a stage set. But at the end of the day, it all gets moved aside and reality hits. It shows there is an instability to that wealth, just as there's an instability to being a water day element, day pillar. So we then go to what rules this water state, which is earth. And earth is balanced at 15%. And when you have a stable ruling element with a strong parent element, like in this chart, you have the successful flow and longevity, great longevity, success, wealth that comes by having a strong ruler and strong parent element. So there we have that. Now, personality-wise, this is interesting. The state of California's people, okay, so this is the people of California, tend to be more easily influenced or influential, distracted by all the toys of life, the new, the latest. It needs stability. It seeks fame and leadership through verbal skills, acting, singing, etc. Developing, it's a developing. It is always developing. It is like a shape-shifting in community of people. It's not mature. It's more like a teenager. It is a state of people that strive to be forever young. Craziness, right? Very hardworking. These people are survivors. They may manipulate to win. They're ambitious, flamboyant, and always buzzing and busy. Competitive, abrasive, chasing their desires, reckless. A place where people can succeed and dreams come true. Californians excel at communication skills of all kind. Ruthless work ethic. A drive to succeed is greater than the drive for one's welfare. Self-inflicted issues due to stress and an unhealthy lifestyle. Wow. Like just seeing all of this coming out, seeing this information was just like, I think that nailed it. Anybody from California may want to argue. And that being said, oh my gracious, please be kind, always kind and respectful in your comments. I will easily delete them if you are not following that request. So thank you. I am interested in your questions and comments, but not when they are unkind. So let's now dive down deep. Why the fires? Why these days? What is happening? So I mentioned that the current Lux cycle brings in the tiger and a semi-fire penalty with the snake, impacting industry, business, the ability to work, and especially the youth and the children. So this is 2020 to 2030 that this is going to be going on. This Lux cycle of a yang water tiger brings in the water. And that water is helpful. It gives them agency, sovereignty, strength in themselves, confidence in themselves. Makes it a very good time in California to form partnerships, to collaborate and to network and to be in community. It's also a time to stand out as whatever you're bringing to the table. The tiger is bringing a lot of action. So that is a great combination when you've got, people coming together and then they're going to do something with that. Whether it's making a movie, building a bridge, or restoring a town that's been burned to the ground. Now, tucked within this, there is a little bit of money. There is health issues, hidden health issues, I should say. Money that is kind of coming in, but it's coming in from a back door, kind of like insurance money might be, or government assistance of some kind. And then there's an underground shift, pushing, pulling on industry, on businesses. Something that is under the surface. And when the tiger in this Lux cycle is challenged, these things can break open. Now, also mentioned in here is infidelity, romance, and the patriarchy. So there's a lot of these things are under the surface, rumbling, okay? The astrology of Tuesday, January 7th, when this fire started to really come to life and spread with these violent winds, we're still in the year of the dragon until the 29th, until actually February 3rd, 2025. That's the first day of the first month of the new year. So this is Yang Wood Dragon. And we know the dragon does what? Whole year of me doing these videos, you know that the dragon hits its enemy, the dog. And the dog is the year and the day of California. This has been a very hard year in Hollywood. From the scandals to the fires, all the weather events, not an easy time. And one of you, not so long ago, asked me to do Governor Newsom's chart and California. And I did not obviously do Newsom's chart. The video is long enough, but regardless of who's running the state, I think that the state's astrology in and of itself is very interesting. So this year, 2024, as it's winding down, was a year of action. And in addition, the dragon brings down the earth, or pushes up earth, which really puts a lot of focus on work, on the patriarchy, government, and is bringing down water and fire. All right, so when we look at that, it really pulls the focus towards the chart being emphasized as now being drier and like that dry heat. Okay, so the dragon also, and this is an interesting thing that is all through this fire astrology. This, my friends, is really painful. Inside, tucked as a subtle influence within 2024, is underground change, a lot of challenge to work and industry. There is a radical amount of change going on and a re-identification with what does it mean to be a Californian. The month is really important. Notoriously, January is known as the month of the ox, and it is dry, cold earth. It's the earth that I walked out into this morning at 11 degrees. Oh my God. And the ground is frozen, covered in snow. That is ox earth. And sitting on top of that is yin fire, which typically is great, except in this situation, because now we have a very hot and dry situation. So the frozen earth is brought, is thawing out, and it's this dry heat coming in. So this yin fire speaks of property, wealth, fame, fortune. And that is sitting on top of work, family, all of our responsibilities, the home. So this whole month is really focused on home, family, work, and how we take care of our property, how we succeed, how we thrive. Tucked into this is government, the divine feminine, and again, this mention of a re-identification of who we are, a loss of self. Who am I as a Californian? Then we come to the day this fire broke out, yang fire, sitting on top of the yin water rat. And that yin water, oh my gracious, this is That yang fire, the yin water, there is yin water throughout that astrology talking about it's kind of like an identity crisis, right? What is happening? I'm disoriented. Who am I? What's happening? How am I here? Who am I? And so in this feeling of loss of self, questioning of self, re-identification of self, reclamation of self, there is all this fire. The month and the day branch being fire. And the month is little fire, like a spark that on that day of Tuesday blooms into a massive fire that completely evaporates the day, which is yin water. It cannot survive. And so it is a loss of self related to your wealth and your property and all the things. Fascinating. Then when we get to Wednesday is a day that is yin fire. So the fire is continuing into Friday. And it is into Wednesday. So Tuesday, we had the day of the rat. So it is like a sizzling fire. And then we come to Wednesday, which is yin fire ox. So now we have 2 ox and double yin fire. It is so hot and dry. I would imagine it really was intense yesterday because I'm filming this on Thursday the 9th. It is like, what an astrology. Very hot, very dry. Now, going into next year is a troubling thing. We have the year of the snake. Now, I also wanted to mention the snake in the hour plus the rooster in the month, along with the month of January 2025 being an ox, forms a full metal trio, making this a dominant metal chart and increasing the level of dryness. This whole thing is a recipe for disaster. And throughout the rest of this month, to watch these days when fire is ruling. So then we have the ox also is forming an earth penalty with the 2 dogs, year and day, meaning that this whole month, for someone with the dog day and most importantly, but also the year, you've got the year and the day, dog and ox form this penalty that brings in really stressful circumstances, and a lot of it around that idea of family and what family is. Family can be community. Family can be an office environment or a work environment, all those beautiful buildings and beautiful businesses that people put together with their blood, sweat, and tears, places where people went to work, gone today, here today, gone tomorrow. That is a real blow to someone's life. My prayers go out, heartfelt prayers to them. Now, this entire 10 years, 2020 to 2030, that there is this fire penalty is really going to be something. It weakens the wood. It weakens the ability to take action and be productive. That fire penalty, talks of lawsuits, death, divorce, a real challenge to the youth and the industries that are California, the work. So there is a real adjustment going on right now, and it's been going on. But if you ask me, now that we're in period 9, as of 2024, this is the fire period. The next 20 years is ruled by fire. And so that is the element. We're going to see this play out in many ways. But one of them, and I mentioned this earlier, celebrity, fame, movies, TV, and singing, music, all are part of the arts for this time that is ruled by fire. And things like this lawsuit, which probably won't happen until 2026, which is really interesting. That year is going to be something else for the United States and our world. I mean, it is all lining up and setting itself up already for this, for what's coming. And I think what we're going to see is a certain amount of a fall of celebrity and a massive reveal of the underbelly, the disgusting awfulness underbelly of Hollywood and the music industry, the TV industry. And some of these stories have come out, child actors that have come out, like the Justin Bieber song where he basically, says what happened with his time with P. Diddy Combs. And stories like P. Diddy Combs, this trial that's going to happen is going to expose a lot of people. A lot of people that we have looked up to. And that's the thing. It's hard to watch your heroes fall. It's hard to see the bubble pop. But I think we are at the door of that. And that is the astrology I wanted to share with you. It is, I think, a fascinating moment and how it all happened, astrologically aligning for just this event. And, I again send prayers out to everyone affected. And it's a day to be really grateful, friends, for all that you have. And first and foremost, that you are well and that your heart is full of love. And from there we move on. So until next time, please be well.